Ladies and gentlemen, this particular story bothers me for a number of reasons, but here's what I need to do. I need to give you guys a disclaimer and tell you guys I am absolutely going to say some things that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities, some things that are not going to sit well with your soul, okay? So if you guys cannot handle that, then this is your official disclaimer, and I'm also going to give some details about what happened to this baby in the story. So if you're easily triggered, then this might not be the stream for you, okay? I'm going to read the news, but I'm also going to give my commentary, which I believe that's what most people are here to do, okay? Florida takes the L today again for the 5th time this month? Good job, Florida. Titusville, Florida, in a horrifying incident of foster home abuse. Let me say that again. Foster home, foster care, foster parents. How many of you guys are familiar with the foster care system? It is a system that is stressed. It is a system that is full. It is a system that is flawed, extremely flawed. There shouldn't be a reason for this system, but the system is there kind of as a failsafe, so to say, because we do know that human things happen and sometimes you have to come in and step in and take children out of dangerous situations. But we as parents shouldn't be failing our children in this way. So that's the very first thing that I need to say is, why was this baby in foster care to begin with? I want you guys to bookmark that in your brain. We'll come back to it. A horrifying incident of foster home abuse, and a 41-year-old Florida woman has been accused of beating a 4-year-old girl to death and also abusing 2 other children whom she fostered. Lakeisha Mitchell, let me see if I can get her face up on the screen. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Let me get her face up on the screen. That wasn't her. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what some people would consider to be a face. I'm not sure about what you guys think about this, but this is apparently a human face that is called a mugshot from an individual by the name of Lakeisha Mitchell, who is 41 years. Man. Look, guys, I know that they say you should judge a book by its cover, and I know some people believe that the Bible says that you should not judge, but I'm here to tell y'all something. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible says that you should have righteous judgment. The same judgment that you judge by, that same standard is what you will be judged by. I don't want to hear that no more. We are supposed to judge, and I'm going to tell you guys, if those foster care workers would have looked at this woman and her record and judged her more properly, would we be in this situation? I want y'all to think about that. For everybody who wants to get mad at me talking about you shouldn't judge. They made a judgment call to put children in this individual's care who looks like she literally... Y'all know what I'm going to say. Now, I'm not going to say it tonight because I don't want to get flagged. But my goodness, this woman and her face. Wow. That's all I'm going to say. We're a little bit politically incorrect over here, but I'm just saying, damn. Let's keep going. She is a resident of Titusville, Florida, and allegedly beat and strangled a 4-year-old little girl. And let me see if I can get this baby's face up on the screen, because I want y'all to look at this angel. And I'm going to tell you something. If y'all want to know where my vitriol comes from this picture. Why? Because I remember when my baby girl, my daughter, and shout out to her, when she was that age. I'm going to pause that picture right there. This is easily my favorite picture of this baby. Because I look at this baby and I see my own child. It hurts me to the core because it makes me wonder how this baby ended up in foster care to begin with, which means that the biological father and biological mother failed this child and potentially even the rest of her family. Because why didn't the family members step in? Grandma, grandpa, cousin, auntie, uncle, somebody. The family circle should have been here. Now, I don't know all of the details about those circumstances, but here's what I can tell you. This child ended up being placed with someone else that was not family, that didn't give a crap about this girl, that did not share her biological tie. And I continue to keep saying this, and y'all think I'm only just talking about the men when I say a man can't love a child like he loves his own. That goes for a lot of women too. As much as some people, not all, I gotta preface that, but there are a lot of people out there that believe that mothers in general or women in general are infallible, which means they can do no wrong. They cannot be held accountable. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. And because you breed a mentality like that, people tend to do messed up things because they're just like, hey, ain't nobody gonna hold me accountable. Which is why we end up here. That is what I'm talking about when I'm identifying the problem and the root cause. Did that go over anybody's head? We're going to hold all parties responsible. There are many people that we can hold blame for losing this beautiful baby girl who seems so sweet, so innocent, those beautiful brown eyes of hers. If I could add this baby to my family, I would guarantee she would grow up and become something great, just like my daughter. This is just, it's incredibly sad. And sometimes we have to find comical moments with these sad stories. But let's continue to give you guys some more details. That little girl's name is Joy King-Castro. They actually wrote it backwards here. I don't know why they did it that way. Joy King-Castro is 4 years old, and this baby was strangled to death. Strangled to death. All while filming the assault. Now, I didn't know this. So apparently, that individual filmed this assault on camera. Now the investigation has found that Mitchell has previously assaulted not one, but two other foster children outside of this baby. Two other foster siblings who were returned to their biological mother after welfare workers noticed injuries on these children's bodies. It is being probed right now why Mitchell was allowed to be a foster mom to another child despite having a history of abuse. I want you guys to take note of that. For people who want to blame this on CPS, blame this on the foster care system, this is probably a great moment to do so. They had a huge red flag in front of this individual's face. They ignored it and placed children with her anyway, knowing that she was already abusive. Joy King-Castro, her caseworker's name is Kirsten Larson, highlighted the same and stated, she says she wasn't going to take her, and she notified BFP, which is Brevet Family Partnership, she wasn't going to take her, Lawson alleged. She further claimed Mitchell eventually changed her mind and decided to keep this child. The child was reported dead on August the 25th of 2021 due to brain bleeding from blunt force trauma to the head. That means this baby was 4 years old. Matter of fact, we're actually going to get to this court video here. This is a huge woman. Why am I talking about her size? Why am I talking about her size? Because you're comparing this woman's size to that baby's size. That's why it matters. If that's not the epitome of a bully, then apparently I don't know what the word means. She's probably about 10 times larger than this 4-year-old baby. I want you guys to also notice that you didn't hear about this woman having a husband. It is a very difficult thing to ask for somebody to raise children by themselves with no accountability. This is also where the infallible mindset comes from, which is why it's important for us to have biological mother, biological father, raising children together under the same roof. Because at least both sides will be able to hold each other accountable. But when you only have one voice and one parent, this person acts as they become like a tyrant in their own home, because there is nobody to hold them accountable and tell them, hey, this isn't right. You shouldn't do this. Shouldn't speak to a kid this way. Shouldn't put your hands on this baby. Okay? Now let's keep going. Joy King-Castro has stayed at 3 foster homes in the past for long terms before ending up under Mitchell's care. Again, I want y'all to remember, she didn't stay with family members, apparently. Despite an existing record of her behavioral issues, Mitchell denied knowing about the same before taking her in, though caseworker Larson tells otherwise. King-Castro, the little girl, started residing at Mitchell's place since June of 2021 this year. On August the 23rd, 2 days prior to this baby's horrific assault and death, Mitchell had called 911 to report that the 4-year-old girl was unconscious and where else? Y'all watched my channel long enough. Where did they find this baby dead at? Do y'all want to take a guess as I take a sip of my ISO detox tea? Anybody want to take a guess? Where did they find this child dead at? Anybody want to take a guess? Mitchell called 911 to report that the 4-year-old girl was unconscious in the bathtub. Now, I want you guys to notice, who are watching the channel right now, look at how many people typed bathtub before I even spoke it. That's how many stories that continue to keep revolving somehow with children and bathtubs, death in bathtubs, slipping and falling, head trauma and bathtubs, internal bleeding and bathtubs, being fully dressed and dying in a bathtub. However, medical evidence found no trace of the girl drowning. Of course. She was rushed to the hospital on an emergency with suspected injuries. She later died on August the 25th of 2021. But there was a video, and I'm going to warn you guys, I'm about to use some curse words because I'm going to tell you exactly what was said in this message, in this recording. We're not going to show the recording, so don't even ask. We're not going to do that. Okay? But these are probably, so you might want to strap your panties on really tight, strap your boxers on really tight, because this is probably going to bother you what I'm about to say. These are her words. A video found on Mitchell by prosecutors show her beating the 4-year-old girl brutally while saying, "I don't even care. Die, bitch, die." Four years old. This big old stank grown ass woman beat a baby to death and talked to her that way. That baby was 4 years old. This is not my personal opinion. That is the evidence that is on video, on tape. Don't email me talking about, Jay, you weren't there. You don't know what you're talking about. You might want to go talk to the courts about this, because that is the evidence that they have. Those are the court documents right there on my screen. And that's what's going to be used against her in court to convict her of what we hope to be at least a life sentence. She filmed it and told this little girl to die. She has been charged with first-degree murder. And y'all know what that comes with. First-degree murder, aggravated child abuse with great bodily harm, neglect of a child, and child abuse. That's what we call a slam dunk case. That ought to be super easy to get her, if not life in prison, the ultimate penalty under law. I don't understand, and there is no excuse for it. Why does she even need to be on planet Earth anymore? Does anybody have a good reason why our tax dollars should go to continuing to make sure that she can breathe oxygen on planet Earth? Seems like it would be fitting in this situation to give this woman the ultimate penalty under law, especially knowing that you have video evidence and she lied on top of that. Speaking to the police during the interrogation, Mitchell insisted that this baby has severe behavioral issues and often spoke to demons. Yeah, blame it on the baby. Blame it on the baby. And we're going to talk about this woman who appears to be crying, that has no tears coming out of her face, which is why I screenshotted it. We're going to talk about her too. Do y'all know who that is? That's the biological mother. She's not off the hook either. She tried to blame it on the baby and say that this baby was speaking to demons. Furthermore, Mitchell's attorney has furnished a report from psychological analyst stating that the minor girl was unable of feeling pain or empathy like other children. That sounds like bull crap. That baby just needed to be around some people that cared about her. Her own biological mother didn't care about her, nor did this foster mother care about her. However, police probe unearthed older records of Mitchell's abuse behavior towards other foster kids as well. So I guess they were probably speaking to demons too, right? I'm sure that's what that was. The 41-year-old foster mother fostered 2 other kids previously whom she beat with belts. And I told you guys, stop spanking your children. If you spank children, stop. Stop doing that. That's a stupid thing to do. If you still spank your children, you are not suitable to be a parent. Stop doing that. If you need help and tips of how to stop spanking your kids, how to be a better parent, email somebody, ask me. I'll be more than happy to try to give you some tips to help you get past doing that. We got to start using our minds and not our fists and our belts. She beat these other kids up with belts, spatulas, shoes, and with her bare hands. In fact, a report dated back from April 20th of 2021, which is only a few months away from August, stated that one of the foster kids was found with a lump on the back of their head with a patch of hair missing. In addition, the child had bruises and abrasions on their face and their buttocks. There were other markings of abuse found on their back and ribs, which apparently were caused by a rope or cord. By a rope or cord. By a rope or cord. What type of alleged discipline is that? That sounds like that's stupidity. There is no way in any shape, form, or fashion ropes and cords and shoes and spatulas and all this and using your hands, that's not discipline. Here's the way I'm going to put this into proper perspective. For anybody listening to the sound of my voice, please do me a favor. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up. Please share this story and let more people know that we're live. Look down, please click that thumbs up. Here is the perfect way for me to explain what I mean. For anybody who can look at this baby's face, I have plenty of pictures. I want y'all to look at this angel's face. She don't speak to demons. She is an angel. She is with God right now, and that baby had love in her heart. I would never accept that. Behavioral issues, my ass. That baby needed love. That baby needed care. That baby needed attention. That baby needed good food. That baby needed unconditional love. She was failed from the moment she was born. But let me give you guys a proper scenario for those who think it is proper to spank your children and hit your children with whatever the hell you can find. And most black folks ought to understand what I'm talking about, because most of us grew up that way. Do you think it's right? Well, let me ask you guys a question. If you think that level of discipline is okay, then I want you guys to explain this to me. I want you guys to explain this to me. This little girl was maybe about 3-4 foot tall. Probably didn't weigh no more than what, 60 pounds, 50 pounds, maybe. If you can beat up and strangle and choke and drown a child, throw a child out of a window, run over children, kick them in the ribs, punch them, body slam them on top of furniture, if people think that type of discipline is okay, if you were a man and you were married to your wife, would you be allowed to spank your wife, hit your wife? Matter of fact, do you know, guys, in marriage, you can't even raise your voice at your wife or look at your wife the wrong way. They have a law about how you look at your wife with your eyeballs. It's called menacing. And it is actually an enforceable law on the books. Don't believe me? Google search it. You can't even look at a grown-ass woman a certain way who actually has the strength, because women are strong, right? They're strong, right? They can do anything a man can do, right? And I'll agree with you. Women are awesome. Women are amazing. Women are strong. They can do anything a man can do. Well, if that's the case, then why aren't they allowed to defend themselves the same way as a man would have to defend himself? They would throw a man under the jail. So why don't we throw parents who beat their children, spank their children, menace their children? Why aren't they in jail? Why do they get to keep their kids and continue to subject their children to abuse? We protect grown women more than we do little princesses like Joy, like this baby. Why does a grown woman get more privilege than this baby? Guess what she's going to be when she grows up? If she would have been allowed to grow up, she would have become a woman. Was she not? She would have been a teenage girl. Was she not? So if we have to protect women, why don't we protect girls? I think that's a very valid question. But if I'm wrong, please type your comments in the comment section and let me know if I'm wrong about what I'm saying. Let me give you guys the fair usage, and we'll go ahead and get started with the news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. You can't beat your wife, but you can beat your kids. I'm sorry, but somebody please tell me where's the logic in that. I just don't know.
We are learning a Titusville foster mom accused of beating a child to death in August had children removed from her care before.
Lakeisha Mitchell is facing charges of murder and child abuse in the death of 4-year-old Joy King-Castro. Channel 9's Ashley Etlin has been following every development in the story and joins us live in the studio with these new details. Ashley?
Well, Darlene, I've been piecing together the timeline, and we're told the children removed from the home of that foster mother, Lakeisha Mitchell, were removed due to quality of care issues. Now, that source tells us it happened sometime in March or April. Meanwhile, the young girl who ultimately died while in her care was placed in the home weeks later. In August, 4-year-old Joy King-Castro was rushed to Parrish Medical Center. Her foster mother telling 911 she was found unconscious, her lips blue. Joy was soon declared brain dead and died days later. Right away, Titusville investigators said the story her foster mother, 41-year-old Lakeisha Mitchell, told them didn't match the severity of Joy's injuries. Bruising above the left eye, swelling to the forehead, and other trauma. Mitchell is now facing a first-degree murder charge and child abuse charges in the case. Immediately, Channel 9 began digging into Mitchell's past as a foster parent. Documents we obtained show Mitchell was a foster parent prior to having Joy in her care. A source now telling us sometime in March or April of this year, at least 2 children in Mitchell's care were removed over quality of care allegations. That source telling us this happened months before 4-year-old Joy was placed in Mitchell's home. I called Brevard Family Services, the agency Joy was part of, to ask if they removed the other children, then placed Joy in Mitchell's home. They told me they cannot comment on an active investigation. I then reached out to DCF and asked the same question. They have not responded, but have said in the past they cannot comment as the investigation is still active. So I sat down with a family law attorney.
Ultimately, what do you think a case like this says about the system? I think it says that we need to reevaluate how we're doing things.
Attorney Conti Moore-Smith says she believes Joy slipped through the cracks of an overworked, underfunded system, a system she says now has to make changes.
We need to look at, the funding, and we need to look at, the training, and we need to look at and reevaluate a lot of different things, because it wasn't just one thing that led to this young girl losing her life.
Moore-Smith says those DCF caseworkers often juggle more than they can handle.
You can tell it's like several hundred, like it's a lot. And sometimes the DCF workers can only scratch the surface.
And it leads to deaths like Joy's.
We need to keep asking questions, being involved, and holding them accountable. Every agency.
Now, I reached out to Joy's family. They weren't available to comment on this story. They tell me, though, this has been devastating for them, and they're trying to just keep going one day at a time. Meanwhile, Mitchell has pleaded not guilty. She has a bond hearing on October 25th. Live in the studio, Ashley Edlin, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We're learning new details tonight about the Brevard County foster mother now charged with murder and child abuse in the death of a 4-year-old foster child.
Investigators say that child suffered severe abuse while in the woman's care and ultimately died from her injuries. Channel 9's Ashley Edlin uncovered documents from Brevard Family Services, the agency that placed the child, and she joins us now in studio. And Ashley, those documents shed more light on the foster mother's past.
Vanessa, I have those documents right in my hands here, and they are from Brevard Family Partnership, as you said. They amount to 500 plus pages detailing a home study and background check completed on that foster mother, Lakeisha Mitchell. Now, the background came just months before this child was placed in Mitchell's care. At that time, the agency recommended Mitchell's status as a foster parent be upgraded. Tonight, 41-year-old
I don't understand how they missed that. They asked for her status to be upgraded. Maybe I can understand a slight oversee where maybe you're just like at her current status and then potentially look at placing the child, but you went a step further. Foster care, CPS, or whoever it was went a step further and upgraded her status, and they had no reason to do so. When you do such a thing, don't you have to do some type of damn research to at least look at your own records and see, oh snaps, that's right. We took children out of this broad's custody because she's a horrible foster parent for beating children. So we're going to put more children in her custody and so she can beat them as well. Well, guess what? She did. She's a creature of habit. She did. How they say on Family Guy? This is a thug foster parent. We talk about the thug zoo. You took these foster children and literally took them to the damn zoo, and then wonder why this foster hippopotamus went and mauled your child to death. And I don't know if you guys know about this, but hippos are actually some of the most dangerous creatures on planet Earth to humans. How many of y'all knew that? Hippos are extremely dangerous to humans and they kill many humans every single year. They had zero reason, zero incentive to place this child back in this same woman's care who lost custody of not one, but two. You had two examples of children who will beat the hell up. But why did she get another chance? Oh, that's right. Because it seems like people only care about collecting benefits off of these children. And what do we call that? Hashtag babies for benefits. Using children for the benefits that you could collect off of those children. Yep.
Keisha Mitchell sits behind bars in Titusville. She's facing a first-degree murder charge and child abuse charges after
Just from that picture, from that screenshot, that woman looked like she a good 5'11", damn near 6 foot tall. She is a Goliath compared to that little girl. That's ridiculous.
Mitchell sits behind bars in Titusville. She's facing a first-degree murder charge and child abuse charges after investigators say this child, 4-year-old Joy King-Castro, was found unresponsive in her care in late August and died.
You will never convince me. There's nobody on planet Earth that will ever convince me, and I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up. When you look at that baby and you tell me she has behavioral issues, no, she don't. No, she didn't. You give it to me, and this would have never have happened. That baby just needed love like all children do, of all races, all nationalities. All children need love. They need love from the moment that they come from the womb, not until you wait and get them in 3 or 4 foster homes, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to figure out, what does this child need? No, this child needs consistency, structure, and love from day one. All children do. Instability is not good for any child, but let's keep going.
Reports Channel 9 obtained from the Titusville Police Department detail what Mitchell says went wrong. Here, Mitchell told investigators August 23rd Joy was throwing a tantrum. Mitchell told investigators often after or during tantrums, Joy would pretend to be unconscious. Mitchell says she put her in a filled bathtub to get her to stop. She then told officers she left the room soon after. And when she came back, she found Joy slumped over, unresponsive, her lips blue. Joy was rushed to Parrish Medical Center, then Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital, where she was soon declared brain dead. That same report details Joy's injuries, bruising above the left eye, swelling to the forehead, and other trauma. Investigators said Mitchell's story and the injuries didn't match. Channel 9 did some digging and found out Joy was placed in Mitchell's care sometime this spring. Months prior, these documents show a home study was completed in February to determine if Mitchell's home was safe for children. The documents show Mitchell was a foster parent prior to having Joy in her care, and she was recommended for more responsibility. The document says, quote, Brevard Family Partnership recommends Lakeisha Mitchell be licensed as a level 2 foster home for 2 children with little to moderate behavioral issues. Joy's family sat down with us this August. Her mother and grandmother said Joy had behavioral problems.
Whoa. Let me rewind this. Here go the family finally. This is ironic. Look at this.
In her care, and she was recommended for more responsibility. The document says, quote, Brevard Family Partnership recommends Lakeisha Mitchell be licensed as a level 2 foster home for 2 children with little to moderate behavioral issues. Joy's family.
Look at this. What do y'all notice from this photo right here?
Sat down with.
This is this girl's alleged family. When y'all look at this, what do y'all see? And I want y'all to remember, there is a lot to learn from the words that I speak. If you get mad about something I've said, then it probably means you're not looking deeper than except for on the surface of what I said. You got to look really, really deep. When y'all look at my screen, what does this look like? Six Girl got it. Ami got it. And y'all did make some secondary observations that are definitely very important, because health is very important because you guys know that I've been actually trying to work on my health, drink a whole lot of water and get my health in line, because us as a community, as black people, we die of heart disease each and every year, and we die very young, starting as early as 30 years and 40 years of age. Where are the husbands? Where are the men? Is this what we're considering her family? So you mean to tell me between 4 women, 4 allegedly capable women, they still had to find and place this girl with other foster parents? Quite interesting.
Thus, this August, her mother and grandmother said Joy had behavioral problems and was in several homes before ending up with Mitchell.
They failed her.
Mitchell told investigators she had concerns about, quote, extreme behavioral issues, and she had been asking for help.
It's not normal to see your child laying there and you.
This is the biological mother. And if y'all want to see her interview, I have an interview that has her speaking a little bit longer. How many of y'all want to hear what the biological mother has to say?
Extreme behavioral issues, and she had been asking for help.
It's not normal to see your child laying there and you can't do anything. I saw my daughter, my 4-year-old baby, hooked up to tubes down her throat. Multiple blows on the left side of her cheek. Her mouth's blue.
The family of a young girl who.
This is the biological mother. And I want y'all to listen to her interview. She's going to talk a little bit longer. Y'all let me know when y'all start to see the tears flow. Please let me know.
I saw my daughter, my 4-year-old baby, hooked up to tubes down her throat. Multiple blows on the left side of her cheek. Her mouth's blue.
The family of a young girl who police say died in the care of her foster mother last week is speaking out, and speaking out only on 9.
Just that little clip is so emotional. Titusville police.
I agree with y'all in the chat. Somebody said she was the first person to fail her daughter. Let's keep going. I agree. Let's keep going.
Say the child was first taken to a Brevard hospital unconscious with severe bruising.
Please make sure you guys click that thumbs up, by the way, if you're listening. Make sure y'all click that thumbs up, please. Our goal is 600.
She was then transferred to an Orlando hospital, declared brain dead, and died. Her family told Channel 9's Ashley Edlin they saw the warning signs and they want answers.
The 24th is when I got the call from the manager of DCF saying, hey, Ms. King, I need you to come to Parish Medical Center. Your daughter is found unconscious.
For Nikisha Hicks King, the past week has been a nightmare. Her 4-year-old daughter Joy died after Titusville police say she was abused and neglected while in the care of her foster mother, 41-year-old Lakeisha Mitchell. Mitchell is now behind bars facing charges of neglect and abuse.
It's not normal to see your child laying there and you can't do anything.
King told me her children were removed from her home in January because of potential abuse by the father of one of her children. She puts the blame on herself.
I made a mistake and trusted somebody. This is not just a random person. This was my youngest child's father, and I trusted him with my kids.
King and her mother, Latasha.
What y'all want to bet the father has a criminal record? You think that she said this was not just a random man, so that means that she was already thinking about what people like me would say about this story. It wasn't just a random man that I was sleeping with, my boyfriend. It was my child's father. That doesn't make him a good person, ma'am. Do you even do a background check to even see if maybe he's on the sex offenders list? Do you even look to see if he was maybe in prison for murder? Did you look at any of that? Since he was already clearly abusive to your little bitty defenseless children? It's real interesting how that works. What y'all want to bet? I'd be willing to bet somebody $100 that by this weekend, she's going to have a GoFundMe up. What y'all want to bet? Y'all want to bet some money on it? I want somebody to put some money on it. $100 says she's going to have a GoFundMe by this weekend. Help me bury my kid, y'all. Y'all, I want to give her the best funeral ever in the history of funerals, y'all. I want her to have a diamond casket, and I want her to be laced with Dorothy from the what's that movie? The Wizard of Oz. I want her to have her shoes on, y'all. And I want to bury her at Mount Sinai itself.
It's not normal to see your child laying there and you can't do anything.
King told me her children were removed from her home in January because of potential abuse by the father of one of her children.
It's not normal to see your child laying there and you can't do anything.
King told me her children were removed from her home in January because
her children were taken out of her custody and she blamed it on the dad. Listen at this.
of potential abuse by the father of one of her children. She puts the blame on herself.
I made a mistake and trusted somebody. This is not just a random person. This was my youngest child's father, and I trusted him with my kids.
King and her mother, Latanya Hicks, say Joy had behavioral problems and was in several homes before ending up with Mitchell.
When my baby first got placed.
How many behavioral problems can a 3 or 4 year old have? She's 4. She's 4, not 14. I could understand if you said this 14-year-old young girl won't listen. She keeps sneaking out of the house and going to go see boys. That might be a problem. 4 years old? She just started learning to walk and talk and maybe even learn what's 5 plus 5. I don't know. I don't know what kids at that age learn. It's been a while. Hell, my daughter's about to be 15 coming pretty soon. How bad could she be? That sounds like bad parenting to me, if you ask me.
Father, and I trusted him with my kids.
King and her mother, Latanya Hicks, say Joy had behavioral problems and was in several homes before ending up with Mitchell.
When my baby first got placed in her home, Ms. Mitchell reached out to me and told me who she was. She said, I have your baby in my home, and I just wanted to reach out to you and tell you that she's in good hands.
But she says she started noticing something wasn't right during one of her unsupervised visits around early June.
She was in so much pain. She didn't have bruises. I checked her body. She didn't have bruises, but her body was in pain.
Nikisha says she went to the case manager.
And I'm going to call something else. And I'm going to call something else out. I want y'all to notice something about this story, who's lacking in this story. And I want y'all to tell me what you believe is missing in that little girl's life. Because I think I know exactly what was missing in that 4-year-old girl's life. Why she might have been giving them behavioral issues. I think I know the reason. Do y'all know the reason? I know.
With Brevard Family Partnership.
When I approached my case manager at the end of that visit, she looked at me and said, she fell.
She says she reached out to the case manager again when she noticed burn marks on the little girl's arms, but claims the caseworker did nothing. Then, tragedy.
I can't hear my baby's voice anymore. I miss Joy so much. So much. That's all I think about. She's all I think about.
Through the tears, they tell me their next steps are to fight for justice.
They failed her.
I spoke to...
They failed. They're pointing the finger at everybody else except that they failed her. Really? Let me tell you guys something. I want y'all to notice how this woman had all girls. When they stepped up to the podium to go speak, all of those, it was 4 women. The individual that this little baby was placed with was also a woman with no man at the house. No man at home, no husband, no stability. This baby was missing a man, a male figure in her life. She needed her father. That's what she needed. Not only just her father, but she needed a great father. Not just a good father, she needed a great father. She was missing the balance, the yin to the yang, the push to the pull. She needed balance, stability, her father, and a great father. No men.
Foster mom in Brevard County has now been charged with murder after a young girl in her care died last month. Lakeisha Mitchell faces first-degree premeditated murder, and as West 2's Marley Martinez learned, she was not only a foster mother but an employee with the school district.
Damn. I didn't even know that. So she was a school teacher? What do y'all want to bet that she was probably abusing the school kids too? I bet you they was probably just too afraid to say anything. What do y'all want to bet that she was probably abusing the school children too?
Foster mom in Brevard County has now been charged with murder after a young girl in her care died last month. Lakeisha Mitchell faces first-degree premeditated murder, and as West 2's Marley Martinez learned, she was not only a foster mother but an employee with the school district.
She worked for the school.
Her mother but an employee with the school district.
Okay, Miss Mitchell,
Lakeisha Mitchell is behind bars without bond.
You've been arrested now on murder in the first degree.
The 41-year-old foster mom has been in jail since August 23rd. At first, charged with aggravated child neglect and abuse,
which is a first-degree felony,
after a 4-year-old girl in her care died. Now that charge has been bumped up to first-degree murder.
It's the most heinous crime that we have in society.
Titusville police say they went to Mitchell's home on Queen Street after she called 911, saying the girl was unresponsive. According to the arrest report, Mitchell says the girl was throwing a temper tantrum and faking that she was unconscious. So to calm her, Mitchell told police she put the girl in the bathtub. Mitchell says she left.
And I want y'all to keep in mind, when she put her in the bathtub, she put her in the bathtub with all her clothes on and a tub full of water. Who does that? What kind of level of dumb is that? What parents put their children in water with their clothes on? What? And I'm not saying that she should have. Just never mind. I'm gonna just play the damn video. This is making me mad.
The bathroom, and when she came back, the girl was unresponsive.
I was thinking that also. How does she fake like she's being unconscious at 4 years? Never mind. This whole story is stupid.
She died at the hospital 2 days later. But the medical examiner later found no evidence of drowning. An autopsy instead found the girl died of blunt force trauma to the head and strangulation.
Our focus in this investigation is to ensure that justice is found for the young child and her family.
According to Brevard Public Schools, Mitchell was an employee for the past 5 years, first as a custodian and then most recently as a clerk at Coquina Elementary. A district spokesperson says she was fired after her arrest. Meanwhile, investigators aren't saying exactly how many other foster children may have been inside of the home, saying that's part of the ongoing investigation.
If y'all have the GoFundMe link, I didn't know it was available. If somebody has that link, post it in the chat or email it to me. Let me know when you email me Joy King-Castro's GoFundMe link. If you have it, email it to me or let me know. Put it in the chat if you've got it.
She had been a foster mom for a few years, so there's likelihood there was other children in that house throughout the last couple of years.
In Titusville, Marley Martinez.
She started caring for Joy this spring. On August 23rd, investigators say Mitchell dialed 911, saying she found the girl unconscious in a bathtub with water. She claims she put Joy in that tub because she thought the 4-year-old was pretending to be unconscious, but doctors say the extensive injuries they found just don't match her story. Joy died 2 days later. Channel 9's Ashley Edlin has been on this story from the very beginning, working her sources. She's live tonight. And Ashley, Mitchell complained about Joy's behavior during her interview with police.
Martha, Mitchell says she reached out to Brevard Family Partnership, the agency that Joy was in the care of, multiple times. She says she expressed concerns about Joy's behavior, but we know Joy remained in her care. This camera was rolling inside a Titusville police interrogation room August 23rd.
Any conditions that would make you worried about Joy? Besides her behavior? Besides behavioral, that's the main thing.
It was the day 4-year-old Joy King-Castro was found lifeless in a bathtub in her foster mother's home. During the hour-long interview, Mitchell told police she had been reaching out to the foster agency, Brevard Family Partnership, for help to deal with Joy's behavioral issues.
That's what I was thinking. I'm not getting help. I gotta get Joy help.
Mitchell tells the investigator Joy was having tantrums, being aggressive with other kids, and even though a behavioralist was assigned to her case, it wasn't getting any better as time went on.
She keeps doing this and keeps escalating. That's why there was a constant call to the media, like, y'all gotta do something.
Mitchell says she told the agency she didn't think her home was the right fit.
Have you been in contact?
Look at how big she is. That is a huge woman. Look at that. She's standing next to a big grown man. And she beat up like a big old bully. She beat up a baby. That is disgusting.
The agency, she didn't think her home was the right fit.
Have you been in contact with the case manager trying to get her moved? Yes, I talked to her. I even texted her one time. It's like, hey, I don't think this is going to work out.
But Joy remained in the home until the day she died. Eyewitness News has been looking into this story for months. We obtained this police report that says 3 months prior to Joy's death, 2 other foster children were removed from Mitchell's care over abuse allegations. Joy was placed in her custody 1 month later. Now, I reached out to the caseworker today.
So in less than a month, they just was like, screw it. Screw what we know, what we just did. We just literally took kids away from you but for abuse and then gave her another kid anyway. Listen to this again.
Hey, I don't think this is going to work out.
But Joy remained in the home until the day she died. Eyewitness News has been looking into this story for months. We obtained this police report that says 3 months prior to Joy's death, 2 other foster children were removed from Mitchell's care over abuse allegations. Joy was placed in her custody 1 month later. Now, I reached out to the caseworker today for Joy, and she told me that Lakeisha Mitchell had help if she needed it. She just says that every single time Lakeisha Mitchell would reach out, she would retract that and say she no longer needed the help, that Joy was okay to stay in her home, and everything was absolutely fine. I also reached out to Brevard Family Partnership today for comment, and they told me that they cannot comment right now because this is an active investigation. Live in Brevard County, Ashley Edlin, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Now, I placed a wager in the chat. I said she would have a GoFundMe up by this weekend. Well, apparently I didn't realize that she already had a GoFundMe up. It is alive and it is active. Would you guys care to take a look at this GoFundMe? Let me place it on my desktop here. GoFundMe. Let me bring this up so you guys can take a look at this. This is coming from the family side. The family who are now asking for money, but did not ask for custody of this child. I want to make sure that y'all hear me and hear me clearly. They did not ask for custody, which is what this girl desperately needed. She needed to be around a family that loved and cared about her. But did they ask for her? No. Did they care about her? No. But what they did do, put up a damn GoFundMe. And asked for $5,000. Is this not disgusting? And I've told you guys, it is not smart to donate to GoFundMe when you're talking about burying children. GoFundMe should be used for life, not for death. We wouldn't put $5,000 into this girl's life. Why would we put it into the ground and put it into death? How does that make any sense? The family put this GoFundMe up. Let me read it to you. It says, Nikisha King, who is the organizing fundraiser, or the organizer of this fundraiser. Hi, my name is Mariah, and I'm reaching out today in need of support for my sister, Nikisha, who's the biological mother. It goes on to say that last year, Nikisha's grandmother, whom she lived with along with her 4 daughters, Yanel, Soraya, Joy, and Promise, tragically passed away due to cancer. Oh my God. I'm going to read this again. I need y'all to see this on my screen so y'all can see exactly what I'm seeing. Take a look at this. Last year, Nikisha's grandmother, whom she lived with along with her 4 daughters, in this world, in this society, they give you Section 8. In this world, in this society, they give you food stamps. In this world, in this society, they give you this little thing called child support. And this thing in our society, they give you housing even if you can't get Section 8 housing in the, what do you call that? In the shelters. Please, somebody explain to me. I'm sorry, but Lord, I'm never going to understand. I'm never going to understand how somebody like this, who would normally get a ton of help from the entire world and from tax-paying citizens, would have one child. Having sex, then have another child. Having sex, then have another child. Having sex, then have another child. So you didn't realize that at the first child that you couldn't take care of that child, when maybe even before that child you couldn't properly take care of yourself? If you don't have a savings account before you have children, you probably shouldn't be a parent. If you don't have a house of your own before you have children, then you probably shouldn't be a parent. If you are not married, actively married, not a promise to be married, not a serious boyfriend, not a, we moving in that direction. If you don't have a ring on your finger with a marriage certificate, then maybe you shouldn't have children. But not only do you forego all of that shit, but you turn around and have the first kid. Now you can't afford to take care of that one. What do? Turn around and blame the man. It's the man's fault. Okay, so what do you do next time around? Have a second kid. Then I'm going to blame that man. It's all his fault. Men ain't nothing. Men ain't shit, right? Now you got 2 kids. Then what do? Turn around and get with the next thug. And now you say, oh, well, I thought this man was going to be something. He promised me he was going to be a good man, y'all. He was going to be a good man, y'all. Then what you do? You turn around. What did they say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. What about what happens when you fool me 3 and 4 times? Who do you blame then? You blame CPS on the 4th time? Is that how it works? You blame the foster parent on the 3rd one. You blame CPS on the 4th one? But it's supposed to be my body, my choice. You're supposed to have access to birth control. You're supposed to have access to condoms. You're supposed to be able to tell a man if you don't want to have sex unprotected, no. No means no, right, ladies? Hello. Am I preaching or am I talking some BS today? $5,000 GoFundMe, and this broad with 4 kids claiming to be a good mother, living off of her grandmother, who grandma probably couldn't even afford to take care of herself, let alone yo grown ass and all 4 of your kids. Huh? Y'all gotta forgive me. I just got a whole lot to say. Took care of her and her 4 kids, and she died from cancer. Damn, man. Do y'all not know anybody who suffered from cancer? Don't y'all think that's a pretty traumatic thing, right? I know my grandmother died from cancer. What about y'all? Do y'all have a family member knowing the fact that 1 out of 2 Americans are going to get cancer and die of cancer? Huh? Do y'all think that somebody who needs help and support, hello, People with cancer need help and support, not to be trying to take care of somebody else's kids and another grown-ass person who refuses to close their legs. Why do you get to have sex and have all the damn fun, but take none of the responsibility? Oh, shit, man. I know I'm going to get flaggy tonight. Are y'all triggered yet? I told you better put your big girl panties on tonight. Better put your big boy boxers on tonight, y'all. Thank you, Josh. Exactly. This is what I mean by infallible. Nobody has held this woman responsible for her choices. Huh? Y'all want to read the rest of this bull crap? Like to hear it go. Let's keep going, y'alls. Let's keep going, y'alls. In an attempt to find a home for her family, she moved to Florida to be with the family of her youngest child. So she gonna live off of somebody else. The family agreed to help Nikisha and the girls out with housing, and I'm sure they meant a home or home child care until she was able to make enough income to get her own housing, which sounds like Section 8. Nikki worked third shift to make ends meet. I would love to know what job she was working at. This will ultimately turn into the worst mistake of her life because it resulted in DCF taking her children and placing them in state custody, trying to deem her as unfit. Oh my goodness, this is a long GoFundMe message. At least they were thorough. In order to regain custody of her children, Nikisha had to follow every rule in place by DCF. She worked and still works 40 hours plus. She has her own housing and all the needs to meet the requirements to bring her kids back home. The custody battle of her children are weighing on her heavily, but she never gave up on her kids. That's debatable, but we'll get back to it. The custody battle of her children weighed on her heavily, but she never gave up. She ended all contact with her youngest child's family, never missed a court date, and answered every beckoning wish requested by DCF. But somehow the abuse came from the inside. DCF placed all four of Nikki's kids in different households, which is the ultimate scare. Let's pause right there. First of all, they would have had to have a reason to take your kids, which would have been the abuse that those kids suffered, which is why, yeah, she left that part out. Thank you. Y'all caught that. Y'all in the chat caught it. She conveniently left that part out. Abuse was why the kids were taken. And y'all can see they carefully wrote all of this bullcrap, but left that out. Nikki felt as if it was a maze. Joy. They labeled a 4-year-old as being a bad child when she would only act out because she wasn't being loved in the same manner as her mother Nikisha would display. DCF looked past Joy's cry for help. Unfortunately, Nikisha would receive a devastating call the night of August 24th that would flip her world upside down. Her precious 4-year-old daughter, Joy, at the hands of a foster parent put in place by DCF, lost her life after being found unresponsive in what else but a bathtub. Nikisha voiced her concern that they would turn her away, leaving her to feel hopeless. But she never gave up. This incident resulted in the arrest of her foster parent, Lakeisha Mitchell, who was being charged with first-degree murder and second-degree child abuse. Joy will never grow up to be that doctor. Joy will never see her siblings. Joy was failed many times, including by her mother, by the way. Thought I'd throw that out there. Little ad-lib. Her mother will never get to see her daughter's shining smile ever again. I'm asking $5,000 in donations to help for funeral costs for baby Joy. So let me ask you guys a question. Do y'all think that she would be held responsible for funerals for children she didn't have custody of? Matter of fact, you know what most states do? when children are the victims of crimes like this, like first-degree murder, the state picks up the bill for burying the children. She does not need $5,000 for a burial. And if you have what appears to be 26 donors, then it sounds like you're just giving her $5,000 just to be giving her $5,000. When I'm sorry, I could think of a lot of better things to do with $5,000 damn dollars. There's a lot that if I had $5,000 in my pocket right now, I could go do for some children right now that could use it. Get them some school books. Get them some shoes. Get them some clothes. Get them into some programs. There's a lot of things you could do for children with $5,000 damn dollars rather than giving it to a mom who absolutely lost custody because she was a bad mom.
I saw my daughter, my 4-year-old baby, hooked up to tubes down her throat. Multiple blows on the left side of her cheek. Her mouth's blue.
The family of a young girl who police say died in the care of her foster mother last week is speaking out and speaking out only on 9.
Just that little clip is so emotional. Titusville police say the child was first taken to a Brevard hospital unconscious with severe bruising. She was then transferred to an Orlando hospital, declared brain dead, and died. Her family told Channel 9's Ashley Edlin they saw the warning signs and they want answers.
The 24th is when I got the call from the manager of DCF saying, hey, Ms. King, I need you to come to Parish Medical Center. Your daughter is found unconscious.
For Nikisha Hicks King, the past week has been a nightmare. Her 4-year-old daughter Joy died after Titusville police say she was abused and neglected while in the care of her foster mother, 41-year-old Lakeisha Mitchell. Mitchell is now behind bars facing charges of neglect and abuse.
It's not normal to see your child laying there and you can't do anything.
King told me her children were removed from her home in January because of potential abuse by the father of one of her children. She puts the blame on herself.
I made a mistake and trusted somebody. This is not just a random person. This was my youngest child's father, and I trusted him with my kids.
King and her mother, LaTanya Hicks, say Joy had behavioral problems and was in several homes before ending up with Mitchell.
When my baby first got placed in her home, Ms. Mitchell reached out to me and told me who she was. She said, I have your baby in my home, and I just wanted to reach out to you and tell you that she's in good hands.
But she says she started noticing something wasn't right during one of her unsupervised visits around early June.
She was in so much pain. She didn't have bruises. I checked her body. She didn't have bruises, but her body was in pain.
Nikisha says she went to the case manager with Brevard Family Partnership.
When I approached my case manager at the end of that visit, she looked at me and said, she fell.
She says she reached out to the case manager again when she noticed burn marks on the little girl's arms, but claims the caseworker did nothing. Then, tragedy.
I can't hear my baby's voice anymore. I miss Joy so much. So much. That's all I think about. She's all I think about.
Through the tears, they tell me their next steps are to fight for justice.
They failed her.
I spoke to Brevard Family Partnership, the agency Joy was in the custody of. I requested documents from them, and I also asked them today if they wanted to be part of this story. They told me they would get back to me. I also got in touch with DCF, and they told me they have an active investigation into this case. Reporting in Orlando, Ashley Edlin, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Just heartbreaking. All right, Ashley.
And I know we got some people that just got here. If y'all would do me a favor and make sure and please click that thumbs up. And we want to try to get as many thumbs up as people are watching right now. So if we can get there, all it does is help share this story. And I'm going to tell you guys something. This story is despicable for a number of reasons. And I hope that you guys, instead of being triggered, and when I say triggered, I mean that with all due respect, because you should be triggered. But don't be triggered for the wrong reasons. I want y'all to be triggered for these babies. Be triggered for the children. Be triggered for those who cannot speak for themselves and for those who are too small to defend themselves against the tyranny of their caretakers. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Mom, if she were a real mom, a really good mom, a respectable mom, would have just said, hey, this is my fault. I'm the reason why I lost my children. I failed my children for putting them around an adult that was not a suitable parent. I chose a father for my children that was not suitable. The only way that we can get better is when we recognize there's a problem, identify, like we talked about in troubleshooting, identify the problem. You have to first be able to look at yourself with the critical eye. And that's the thing that I love about my father. Shout out to my biological father, my real father, been there my entire life. Has always held me accountable for the choices that I make and the situations that I get myself into. And I used to think, well, why does he do it that way? I'm not so sure about this, Dad. Because he puts the responsibility on me to get myself in and out of situations, to put myself in the most advantageous situations, because at some point I have to be autonomous and do it myself. And I've noticed ever since then, there are too many people who have never been held accountable, who have always had the safety net underneath them, who have always had somebody else doing the work for them, which causes these children to be in these situations that they should not be in. If we're going to say there was a failure, the failure should start with the mom, should start with the grandmother, should start with all of those ladies who had all of that courage to walk up there and go do that interview and talk about how bad the rest of the world is. It should have started with them. Because with 3 of those 4 women should have been candidates to take in that baby. Should have taken in this baby who all she needed was love. Even the mother hinted to that. The biological mother said the only reason she behaves that way is because she wants love. And I've said that. That's not a bad baby, and no babies are bad. Can y'all put that in the chat, please? Facts. No babies are bad. If you're the type of person to be like, ooh, them kids is bad, girl, stop doing that. That is detrimental. And you're speaking death on those children. I'm not going to tell too much of my personal business, but I've watched people do that to people that I love. And I've watched how it's torn them down and made them feel like they needed to be a badass and be destructive and be this horrible person that people will call them. They don't say, ooh, them kids is bad in an affectionate way. That's destructive, and you're not speaking love into people when you do that. You are not disciplining your children if you have to physically discipline them. That does not teach children respect. It only teaches children fear. Trust me, I come from a background that was raised from a background, that was raised from a background, that was raised from a background, that we all went through physical spankings, and it's not right. And we can do better. We can grow. We can learn to be better than our past. Did CPS fail? Abso-freaking-lutely. They had a big red flag in front of that file that said this woman has already lost children, and you knew it less than 30 days ago. It wasn't like it was 30 years ago. It wasn't like it was 30 months ago. 1 month prior. 1 month prior, you knew, and you said, screw it, let's upgrade her status to put this baby in danger. That's essentially what you said. So should CPS be charged? Yes. Should the caseworker be charged? Yes. Should that big old nasty woman that murdered this baby with her big bully self do life in prison? Yes. Did the mother, the biological mother, deserve to lose her children? Yes. Does she deserve to lose that Gofundme? Yes. Did she take advantage of everybody around her, family and friends, grandmothers, baby daddies? Yes. She is a horrible example of a mother. Now, why people are rewarding her? What is she going to learn by you giving her a $5,000 Gofundme? What do you think she's going to do? Go get some more dick? Go get another baby? She's just going to pop out another one. But as far as this individual here, this old, you gonna eat your cornbread face looking ass? Disgusting. Should have never have had a chance to be around this kid, nor the previous two kids, nor be allowed to work in schools. Think about this. How many of them kids went to those schools that she was at? I'm done because I feel like I'm going to say something that's going to get me flagged. Oh my goodness. This is horrible. So we'll bring you guys an update when we get our final sentencing, and then we'll just go from there. But let me get this baby's picture up here. This is not a problem child. This is a princess. So to young Joy, young baby girl, 4 years old, princess, R.I.P. We are so sorry this world failed you. You were a good girl, and people out there like us, our heart goes out to you. We love you. Thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart. Very important. Thank y'all for listening to her story. Do you guys have time to listen to 2 more stories? I do have 2 more. If you looked at the thumbnail, do y'all have time? Because if y'all got time, I'm going to make time. Let me say thank you to those who were able to donate by way of Cash App and PayPal. Links in the description box. I got to thank a couple of people real quick. Let me bring up my next story. We'll do that one. I want to talk about this one. Because this one involves another little girl that reminds me so much of my daughter. Beautiful baby. Beautiful baby. If y'all got time, I got time. Can y'all hit that thumbs up for me? And let's do this. We got more children to talk about because I want you guys to remember that what we want to do is we want to try to save children. These children, if they've passed away, we can't do anything for them. But what we can do is use their stories as cautionary tales to make sure that this never happens to other children. You got time, Josh? Shay Shay got time. Leo got time. Jimmy D got time. Bonnie, Marie, y'all got time? Snazzy Girl? Moolah, Arlene? Little Bit? Thank you, Little Bit, for promoting. Little Bit bought some t-shirts. If y'all want to buy t-shirts like The Baby's Lives Matter, the link is in the description box in different colors for children, men and women. They're all in there. Cecilia bought some. Thank you, Cecilia. Showing some love. But this is such a beautiful little princess. Look at her. Why would anybody be mad at her? Thank you, Dre. Dre got time. Barbara, thank you. DJ Matt, what up? Bonnie, what up? Mildred, Tammy, Angel, Miss Niecy. Please, y'all, look at this baby. And guess where this happened at? Chicago. Are y'all ready? Chicago, yet again. How many people live in Illinois? How many people are tired of all of these stories coming out of Chicago? Is anybody tired of Chicago yet? Are the people in Chicago tired of this happening yet? My brother, Dre the Dream. I got yours. You donated about 10 minutes ago. Thank you, Dre the Dream, my brother. Hit us up in Cash App. Thank you. Irene R. If you're listening, thank you. I won't read your whole name. Kim, where's Kim at? Look at Kim. Where's Kim at? Is Kim still in the chat? Kim Fairchild's in the chat. And y'all know Kim has been amazing, and she did it yet again. Kim, if you're listening, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your Cash App. And I can never thank you enough. Thank you, Kim. Brandy, as always, showing love. Thank you. Little Bit, thank you. Jimmy D. Kirby, Barb Ruth in PayPal. Barb Ruth, if you're listening, thank you as well. If anybody else wants to contribute, feel free to do so. Thank you for subscribing. If y'all just subscribed, I do have an announcement. We did cross a milestone on this channel, but I'm going to keep the milestone private. But just know that we're doing some growing. We're doing some growing at the AFC, and we want to continue to grow and become something great, just like these children should have an opportunity to do so, okay? But thank y'all for that. Let's talk about this baby. I think we got enough thumbs up. But just know that... Okay, we're still at about 700 to 800 people. That's pretty good. We're still at 564 thumbs up. So we only need 44 more people to click that thumbs up. Harvey, Illinois. I think that's Chicago, right? A milestone is infinite. You right, Dre? But I'm going to keep it private because I don't want these haters to get mad out here, man. Believe it or not, there's people that don't actually like what we do. There's people that are actively trying to stop us from advocating for our children and trying to build a community that speaks up for the children. Believe it or not, that's real talk. I think it's sick that anybody would try to flag or leave negative comments. I just think it's, I don't know, man. Just got to pray for people. You got to pray for people. Put that prayer hand emoji in the chat if you can. Y'all ready? What's going on, Cynthia? And yes, we're live. We are live. I will make these videos into their own separate videos and upload them to the channel at a later date so you guys can watch these stories as their own individual stories. Harvey is in Chicago. So yes, I'm blaming this on Chicago. So get ready. Why does the story do that? This is really weird. I think I can still read it. Ladies and gentlemen, are you guys surprised that I have yet another story out of Chicago and another child, another baby has senselessly lost their life in Chicago? And it makes me wonder, when are the people in Chicago going to get tired of this? When are they going to have enough? When are they going to stand up and say enough is enough? When are they going to fight back? When are they going to, if they're just that helpless, let the government come in and do what they do best and clean up? This seems like the perfect opportunity to do so. But until then, we're going to continue to keep losing these lives that don't have a voice. What are these babies supposed to do? I don't understand it. Now, me as an adult, I have choices. What are these children supposed to do? Let me tell you guys about a little 2-year-old girl. We're always talking about protect the queens, right? But those queens need a chance to grow up and become grown women. So why don't we protect children, especially girls, the same way that we were protect an adult? Seems like, if you follow logic, it seems like you will protect children way more. A 2-year-old girl was shot in a place called Harvey, which is essentially Chicago, and was shot and killed Thursday night in a south suburban Harvey neighborhood. Around 7:15 p.m., Harvey police were called to the 153rd Street and Lexington Avenue after a girl had been shot in the head. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Southside Chicago. And I want to warn you guys, you're going to get some details that might tie a knot in your stomach, and it might not sit well with your sensibilities. If you cannot handle that, then you might need to exit the video. For everybody else, that is your official disclaimer. The girl's father carried her in his arms as she was rushed to Ingalls Memorial Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. She was later identified as 2-year-old Majesty Hale, Hale. This beautiful little princess. That's Majesty, and I love her name. Love her name. Of course, they spelled it unique, like a lot of us do, but I still love this baby's name. Beautiful little girl. This is a tragedy. We are heartbroken. The city of Harvey is definitely reaching out, and we will continue to support the family in any way that we can. As a father, there was nothing worse than hearing anything like this, said Harvey City Administrator Timothy Williams. Harvey police have not said exactly what happened, but Friday morning said the shooting was contained to the house. There is no danger to the public. Southside Chicago, there's no other danger to the public, but yet this is an everyday, every few hours thing. No danger to the public, huh? Okay. I guess somebody out there really believes that pile of BS. They said the shooting was contained to the house. What does that even mean? Why do they use words like that? It was contained to the house. Chicago is a city. Illinois is the state. Harvey is a city. Harvey is a city of Illinois. From what I've heard, if you read other articles, from what I've read, they also refer to this area as South Chicago. I looked up about 12 different articles on this story. Contained to the house. Does that mean somebody was shooting at the house or shooting inside the house? Why wouldn't they specify that? That's very vague, but let's keep going. They said because it's an active investigation, some specifics they don't want to give up right now. So there you go. They're going to try to solve some crime in Chicago, even though, like Tommy said, and like Relationship Rehab says, 80 out of 100% of the crimes go unsolved. 80% of the murders go unsolved in this area. So I'm sure they're going to catch somebody. I guess we'll have to see. The chief refused to say if police are actively searching for any suspects or persons of interest in the shooting, or how many people were inside the home at the time, although police earlier confirmed that there were other children at the home. An entire section of the street was taped off as investigators spent the night interviewing family members. A pastor who lives next door said he heard several gunshots and rushed outside. I see a baby on the floor in a pool of blood, as well as the mom, yelling out for assistance and help. Pastor Jonathan Johnson told the news, which this is chicago.cbslocal.com. For people who are telling me Harvey is not Chicago, well, this is from chicago.cbslocal.com. So maybe I got it wrong, or did I just read the article itself wrong? Maybe I'm illiterate. I don't know. Could be. It's very devastating. It's a very devastating thing to see, and I'm sure they see it all the time. Johnson says some of the family members are taken to the hospital on Friday for trauma counseling. Meanwhile, Williams said the city has appealed to the Justice Department asking for a federal grant to hire additional police officers in an effort to double their current police force. However, city officials wouldn't say how many officers they have right now. Do you guys see the hypocrisy and the predicament with them saying they need more funding to hire more police? Do you know why they don't have the funding? Anybody want to take a guess? Oh, what is that famous line that they like to use, that famous hashtag defund the police? Huh? They want funding, but they want to take away funding from the police, but you need funding in order to hire more police and have more police resources, right? I thought. If you defund the police, won't that actually mean that they won't have funding to hire more police? Maybe I'm the dummy, but let's keep going. Still, the goal is to make sure that there are enough officers covering other parts of the city when tragedies like this happen. When our officers are going to the scene, there's other areas in the city that need support as well. So we're happy to get support from Cook County, from Illinois State Police, and from neighboring communities. And that's what the South Suburbs do, but we certainly want to fortify and support our own force here. As for the investigation into Majesty's death, police said they will provide an update when they have more information. That's very, very vague, but they think that they're going to do such a good job. Well, let's see what they do. Chicago, you're on the clock. Illinois, you're on the clock. Harvey, you're on the clock. Let's go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And I want you guys to also understand this. I'm from a place called Texas. Do you know what we call Dallas? Do you know what we call Arlington? Do you know what we call McKinney and Allen and Plano and Las Colinas and where else? A couple other places. Do you know what we call all of that? Dallas. We call it the DFW. Fort Worth included. All of that is considered Dallas. So let's not act like this concept is foreign to Chicago. It's closer damn enough, okay? It's the greater surrounding area. Same thing. Let's go.
An update now to that breaking news from the top of the broadcast. A 2-year-old girl was shot and we now know killed in South Suburban Harvey in an apparent drive-by shooting. That's according to a spokesperson from Harvey Police. Here is a live look at that scene. Again, it's 153rd and Lexington. A 2-year-old girl shot and unfortunately killed. We will continue to stay on top of this breaking development. Now to breaking news, an update as police in Harvey investigating the death of a 2-year-old. She was shot and killed last night inside a home, and she later died at the hospital this morning. Police say the public is not at risk. CBS 2's Muga Odigwe has new developments.
The medical examiner's office has identified the little girl as Majesty Hale. We're told she was shot in the head, but as for who did this and how it happened, we didn't get any answers.
Again, because it's an active investigation, there are some specifics that I don't want to give out.
Question after question, and the Harvey police chief responded with the same answer. He refused to say if they're currently looking at any suspects or persons of interest in the shooting, or how many people were inside the house at the time. The shooting happened around 7:15 last night. Police officers were focused on this house near 153rd and Lexington. An entire section of the street was taped off as investigators spent the night speaking with family members. We're told they were interviewed late into the night. This morning, police confirmed the shooting happened inside the house and that there were other children present. Majesty's father carried her in his arms as she was rushed to the hospital.
This is a tragedy. We're heartbroken. The city of Harvey is definitely reaching out, and we will continue to support the family in any way that we can. As a father, there's nothing worse than hearing anything like this.
Harvey City Administrator Timothy Williams says the city has also appealed to the Department of Justice, asking for a grant to hire additional officers. They want to double their current force, but won't say how many officers they have now. Still, the goal is to make sure there's still enough officers covering other parts of the city when tragedies like this happen.
When our officers are going to the scene, there's other areas in the city that may or that need support as well. So we were happy to get the assistance from Cook County, from the Illinois State Police, and from the neighboring communities, and that's what the South Suburbs do.
And while no one is in custody for that shooting, South Suburban Police are talking to the parents of this 2-year-old shot and killed last night.
Let's get right to Jermont Terry, live in Harvey, where loved ones gathered to remember the little girl. Jermont.
Brad and Erica, there's no doubt that this little girl's death leaves a huge void for her parents and family members. As you mentioned, loved ones gathered tonight outside the home where Majesty Hill was shot. In her 2 short years, her grandmother says the child impacted so many people. But something terrible happened Thursday night. Harvey police will only say a gun went off from inside the home. A bullet hit Majesty in her head. The grandmother was visibly shaken by the loss at tonight's vigil, but she revealed the child's parents are hurting more because they remain in police custody.
They are a grieving mother and father whom just lost their baby, and they should not be where they are.
I want to throw something out there, and I want to give y'all something to think about. For the people in the chat, I know you're trying to correct me and tell me that Harvey is not a part of Chicago. It's its own separate thing. I want y'all to think about what you're saying. Because every other place, even like Cecilia said, I'm originally from Oklahoma City. So, because I spent, 28 of my years in Oklahoma City? So I can speak on this. Any of the areas, like in Oklahoma City, we considered Bethany part of Oklahoma City. We considered Edmond damn near part of Oklahoma City, even though it's definitely its own separate city. Midwest City, Dale City, Moore, Oklahoma is damn near considered to be Oklahoma City. We don't really separate it like that. We only name those cities just to let you know either where we at or where we live at. It's pretty much it. Out here in Texas, because I've been a resident of Texas for 8 years. All of these cities that are around Dallas and Fort Worth, we consider that all the same as Dallas. DFW. Why do you think they call it DFW or the Metroplex? Because if it affects one, it affects all. You will not separate us. And together, we are what? Unified. Maybe y'all didn't think about it that way. We come together and we are unified. So I want y'all to think about this. What do you think is going to happen to Chicago if everybody keeps saying, no, like this ain't associated with Chicago, that ain't associated with Chicago. Chicago is its own separate thing. You know what they're going to eventually start to do? They're going to say, it ain't all of Chicago, it's the South Side, specifically from this block all the way to this side, from this area all the way to this area, and you're going to start to isolate yourselves. So who do you think is going to come in crying for that area of Chicago when they finally say enough is enough and send in the National Guard? Do you think anybody's going to have Chicago's back at that point? Going to be pretty isolated out there on an island all by yourself. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there, just a little food for thought. Being out there on an island by yourself has never really been a good thing. History has proven that. Just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, let's go.
You've been down there over 24 hours. You have nothing. You can't prove anything.
Now, family members hinted that this was an accidental shooting. However, Harvey police have not said who pulled the trigger or where that gun came from, only stressing tonight that there is no threat to the public. Live outside the Harvey Police Department tonight, Jermont Terry, CBS.
I've actually seen in Chicago where they had a shooting that was considered to be a school shooting because it was around the area of a school, and they said nope, it was on the other side of the street, so that's not considered to be a school shooting. They're more concerned about the numbers, and that's something I can actually prove on tape based on their own words. They said it wasn't a school shooting because it happened on a different side of the street. Even though it was kids that got shot at. It's like, I really don't think, and I know it's not all, and I don't want y'all to get it twisted. I know it's not everybody that thinks that way, but it's scary to think that so many people are missing the entire point. This bullshit shouldn't be happening, period. It doesn't matter where it was. What does The Rock say? It doesn't matter what side of the street it was on. It doesn't matter whether it was Harvey or South Chicago. It was the suburbs. It doesn't matter. Oh my goodness. Come on, people. Let's stick together. Let's not separate. Don't put yourself on an island. It's never been a good thing.
And we have breaking news tonight. A 2-year-old girl is dead after a shooting in South Suburban Harvey.
Let's get right to Anthony Ponce, who is live with the latest. Anthony.
Dawn and Corey, we just found out the girl is 3 years old, and the shooting happened around 7:30 p.m. tonight here in South Suburban Harvey. We are told by the family's pastor that this young girl was simply inside her home when she was hit in the face and in the head by bullets that came from a drive-by shooting. Again, this happened at 7:30.
So they wouldn't even tell us that. That was simple news. So there you go. I'm going to rewind this so y'all can hear it. It was a drive-by shooting. So when they say it was isolated to the home, it was a drive-by. Damn, was it that hard to say? Sheesh. It was a drive-by. Thank you, news reporter. So this man said it was a drive-by. At least we got some information.
Tonight here in South Suburban Harvey, we are told by the family's pastor that this young girl was simply inside her home when she was hit in the face and in the head by bullets that came from a drive-by shooting. Again, this happened at 7:30. A 3-year-old girl, she succumbed to her injuries. We are told by the family pastor who spoke to us moments ago. Here he is.
I ask that you turn yourself in. I ask that you really examine and search yourself to really figure out how you can become a better you. This child didn't deserve it. And I humbly ask that this person just do the right thing.
Brother, y'all have been preaching that message for all these years. 80% walk away from murder. 80%. 8 out of 10. 800 out of 1,000 are gonna walk. If you got that high, matter of fact, what if they played the lottery like that? 80% of your lottery tickets are gonna win. Don't you think there would be a large amount of people that are gonna go down there and go play the damn lottery? That's all they're doing. They're playing lottery with drive-bys because they know that they can get away with it. So the point that they're doing it is that they know that they can get away with it. So why would they turn themselves in knowing that you're not going to get caught at an 80% rate? Who would turn themselves in knowing that all you got to do is just act like you don't know nothing? That ain't getting to the root of the problem, saying we needs to come together, y'all. We need to pray. We need to hold hands, and we's gonna walk outside and have a protest in the daytime when the thugs and killers are asleep, and we gonna march the streets and yell and scream and hopefully disturb their sleep, disturb the thugs' sleep while they sleep. And we're gonna ask that these people who did this crime turn themselves in so they can get themselves life in prison, or because if they don't, then maybe they don't have to do no time in prison at all, and people can continue to be scared and they ain't got to do nothing about it except continue to keep living their thug life with their thug ways. Sound about right? Turn yourself in. We'll see how that works out for you.
And the police chief of Harvey has just stepped out of the police station to make a statement. Let's listen in on his comments here. Chief, can you tell us what transpired earlier here today?
Well, let me give you a brief statement. This evening at roughly 7:15, the Harvey Police Department responded to a shooting
that occurred at 153rd in Lexington that took the life of a 2-year-old girl. As we speak, the police are on scene investigating, and we're speaking to family members. As we learn more from our investigators, we will have more information for you. We are heartbroken that the life of one of our innocent children has been taken, and our detectives will be working internally with the proper law enforcement agencies to bring the persons to justice.
Any descriptions you can release at this time, sir?
Not at this time. It's an ongoing investigation.
No one in custody, correct?
Again, it's an ongoing investigation.
Can you say if anyone is in custody, if there's any danger to the public
There's
right now?
no danger to the public, and it's an ongoing investigation.
Chief, were you at the...
How is there no danger to the public if that was a drive-by shooting and they're still free and they don't have any leads and they don't know nothing but a baby is dead? But I don't understand why you would even say that. There is no danger to the public. Actually, if a killer and a murderer is on the loose, that actually means there is a danger to the public. How are you even able to say those words on national television? He said no danger. How? How? They shot and killed and murdered a baby. They're on the loose. You don't have a clear idea of who did it. But you knew enough information to say that there is no danger to the public. How?
Earlier?
Yes.
Can you describe what it means for you, law enforcement, to see a 2-year-old girl?
I don't think that's a fair question. I don't think that's fair to ask any parent that to sing an innocent child.
What's happening right now out in the community right now?
I don't understand the question.
Are there squad cars on the streets? Are they pursuing this vehicle? Are the people involved?
What vehicle?
We were told a short time ago this may have been a drive-by situation.
Negative. That's bad information.
He said there was no drive-by, but the reporters came out and said there was a drive-by, which actually makes sense. You're going to tell him his information is false. Why? Man.
Okay. What happens from here, Chief?
The investigation continues. Our detectives are speaking to family members in the neighborhood.
What would you say to the people who may still be out there, who may have been involved with this? What would your message be to them?
Turn yourself in. If you're involved, turn yourself in.
If you're involved, turn yourself in. What a novel idea. Turn yourself in, criminals. Yeah. We'll wait. Don't worry. We'll wait. We'll be right down here at the police station eating donuts and drinking coffee, waiting on y'all to turn yourselves in. Yep.
Police in Harvey are investigating the death of a 2-year-old girl. She was shot last night inside a home and later died at the hospital. At this hour, police are not sharing many details. Our Asal Razai is in Harvey. She spoke with the pastor of the church next door to where the shooting took place. Asal.
Erica, the pastor telling me not only did he hear those gunshots, but he saw the little girl just moments after the shooting happened.
I heard several gunshots go off. I believe it was about 2 gunshots that I heard go off, and I immediately just stopped and ran around the corner only to find the child and mom in the middle of the doorway. And
he said at least 2 gunshots. Let's listen again. That don't sound like an accident to me.
Stopped and ran around the corner.
The little girl just moments after the shooting happened.
I heard several gunshots go off. I believe it was about...
He said he heard several gunshots. Several. I want to make sure I'm rewinding this so I can make sure I get his words right.
The little girl just moments after the shooting happened.
I heard several gunshots go off. I believe it was about 2 gunshots that I heard go off, and I immediately just stopped and ran around the corner only to find the child and mom in the middle of the doorway. And I can honestly say that that was a sight that you never would want to see.
Police identifying that little girl as 2-year-old Majesty Hale. They say her father carried her in his arms as she was rushed to the hospital. Blood splatters still covering the front porch when we arrived at the home this afternoon. The shooting happened around 7:15 Thursday night. In a news conference this morning, Harvey police saying the shooting happened inside the house near 153rd and Lexington. They say
the shooting happened inside the house. So maybe they're wrong about that. They just said here the shooting happened inside the house because a drive-by normally has more shots than just 2. So the shooting happened inside the house.
On 7:15 Thursday night, in a news conference this morning, Harvey police saying the shooting happened inside the house near 153rd and Lexington. They say other children were at the house when it happened, but it's still unclear exactly how many children or adults were there. Pastor Johnson tells me he's still working directly with the family and that some family members were taken to the hospital for trauma counseling today. There's still a lot of questions as to who's responsible or how this happened. Harvey police still not saying if they are looking for a suspect or any persons of interest. Reporting in Harvey, Asal Razai, CBS 2 News.
Asal, thank you.
We are going to open up. We're going to hear an update from Chief Mosley, and there'll be a bit of a statement on some of the needs and requests that we have of.
And this interview is about 9 minutes long. I'm going to skip that portion, but you guys can find that on YouTube. It's really easy to find on this particular story. But I want to make sure and keep the focus on this baby. And I know I've said a lot of things. And one of the things I'm going to continue to stand up and I'm going to say is that we can't just sit and wait for criminals and non-law-abiding citizens to do the right thing. Because isn't that what they've been doing this entire time? Right? Committing crime. And there just seems to be to no end in sight. You go get the criminals. You don't ask for them to turn themselves in. I can't remember that sheriff that does a lot of YouTube videos, and I like him a lot when he gets on TV and he's like, we're going to come get you. We're on our way. We coming to come get you. I like that dude because he's not sitting there and asking him, please, please, Mr. Criminal, turn yourself in. Please do the right thing. Begging and pleading with criminals, you go get their ass. Straight up and down. These babies can't defend themselves. They can't speak for themselves. And what was this little girl supposed to do? Beautiful baby girl. I'm glad somebody made this graphic because that's a graphic I really, really liked. Beautiful baby girl. She could have grown up to become anything. And I want you guys to just keep her in your thoughts and prayers with her family. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it sounds like it was probably something crazy. We just don't have a lot of truth right now. Okay. But I want to remind you guys of this little girl's name. Her name is Majesty Hale. Beautiful little girl. Young princess. R.I.P. We thank y'all for listening to her story with an open mind as well as an open heart. And I hope that I say things that could potentially bring about a change and make our society better. Okay. Thank you guys. Let me ask you guys a question real quick. Y'all said Bob Fletcher. Y'all said Sheriff Grady Judd. I don't remember who it was. It was one of them. But I like them a lot. Like they're just proactive and they be about handling their business. And I like those. I like those guys. I do. Do y'all have time for one more story? I do want y'all to hear this. This one is complex. I'm not going to even take a lot of y'all time, but I do want to tell y'all one more story if you have time, and then we'll call it a night, okay? So we're almost pushing midnight here in Texas, in the DFW area. Is this 2 videos? This? Yeah, that's a copy. Let me get that one out of there. So that one was the copy. All right. Let's get it, y'all. One more story, and then we'll call it a night. I think we had a couple more people donate. Let me say thank you to those who continue to donate. Let me say thank you. Let me make sure I can say your name. I'm a member and support you. Susan. Susan, last name starts with a B. I don't want to read your whole name out. Of course, I'll always keep that private, and I'll keep your amount private. So, Susan, if you're listening, thank you for your donation. Beth with an H, thank you for your Cash App. Dre the Dream, thank you. My brother Dre the Dream, thank you for Cash App. Thank you, Irene, thank you. And also thank you, Kim. Kim is in the chat. Thank you, Kim. And thank you, Brandy, and Little Bit, Jimmy D, Kirby, and Barb Ruth. I think that's everybody so far. Sheriff Judd. Sheriff Judd is cool, man. I like him. I don't care what nobody say. I like me some Sheriff Judd. Like me some Sheriff Judd. Let me pull up my article and let's talk about this baby right here. And I hope I get this story right. Let me see. I have... Yeah. Okay. I'm actually going to read this from Illicit Deeds, and I hope she don't mind. I'm going to say, yes, 10 a.m. is good. Yes. $10 a.m. is good. So I'm not going to say exactly what I'm talking about, but that's awesome. So if you're listening, thank you very much. You know who you are. Thank you. That works for me. So I'm going to read this story. I don't know if Illicit Deeds is still here. I know she was here earlier, but I want to shout out Illicit Deeds for this article. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to thank my friend, awesome person, Illicit Deeds. That's where I'm getting this article from. So we're going to be sharing that information. And we're going to give you guys some details about this story that is not going to sit well with your sensibilities. So make sure you're prepared to handle that. So this is your official disclaimer about this wild story of the three stooges, I suppose. I guess that's what you can call them. 3 people are being held accountable for the death of one child. Incredibly sad. But a grand jury in Texas, so Texas takes the L for this story. A grand jury in Texas this week returned a capital murder indictment against that man, accused of viciously beating his girlfriend's 11-month-old son to death. Now I want y'all to look at this baby's face by the name of Javante Lamar Neely, 11 months old. So I assume that somebody's probably going to tell me that this baby had behavioral issues and this baby was acting out and this baby probably made these grown people mad and upset and they didn't know how to control their emotions. Is that what some people are going to tell me? Y'all going to tell me the baby caused his own death? Let me guess. The baby hurt himself and slipped and fell in a tub and drowned. I'm sure that's what happened, right? Pretty sure that's what they're going to claim. But let's talk about this. That man viciously beat this woman in the middle. That's the mother, biological mother, Christy Wentworth, 24 years old. This man, her boyfriend, beat up her 11-month-old son to death. The infant's mother was also indicted after prosecutors say that she failed to protect her children from abuse that she knew was happening on a regular basis. Officers with the Texarkana Police Department on Sunday arrested 28-year-old, let's go back, 28-year-old Joshua Deshaun Neely. Joshua, excuse me, I read that wrong. Joshua Deshaun Lowe. Joshua Deshaun Lowe. I read that wrong. He's 28 years old for allegedly killing Javante Neely, who was the baby. So I read that slightly wrong. He is charged with 1 count each of capital murder of a person under the age of 10 years old, because you guys know we have the super aggravated child abuse laws in Texas. So right on for Texas. Aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury and injuring a child with the intent to cause severe bodily injury, according to jail records. He was also charged with an additional count of injuring a child with the intent to cause severe bodily harm for allegedly abusing Javante's 4-year-old sister. The boy's mother, 24-year-old Christy Wedgeworth, was charged with 1 count each of injuring a child by omission and injury to a child with serious bodily injury by omission. Javante was reportedly transported in a private vehicle from a home located in the 800 block of Bowie Street to St. Michael's Hospital on July the 11th, according to an arrest affidavit obtained by Texarkana Gazette. Upon arrival, Lowe reportedly told medical personnel that the child had choked on a hot dog. He said the child choked on a hot dog. Give me a second. Sorry about that. You guys give me just a moment. Give me just a moment. All right, my apologies. Let's keep going. So the story that this man came out with was he said that this child choked on a hot dog. However, of course, doctors weren't born yesterday, and they were able to find out because they were skeptical of this report, and they looked at the child's physical injuries, which included severe trauma to the head and multiple broken bones in various stages of healing. And did not comport with a choking incident. Hospital workers called police immediately after admitting Javante. During an interview with investigators, boyfriend, Lowe, that guy, who's a pretty low down individual, reportedly claimed that he dropped the infant after the child threw up on him, saying the boy then fell backwards and hit his head on the table. Again, he fell and hit him and hurt himself. Blaming it on the kid again. Lowe used a doll to demonstrate how he dropped Javante. He dropped the doll from 1 or 2 feet in the air, according to the affidavit. But this explanation also did not explain the boy's vast array of injuries, which were at least 7 to 10 days older than the injury to the head. A doctor from the Arkansas Children's Hospital in Little Rock on July the 12th told police that Javante was suffering from injuries that included abusive head trauma, subdural hemorrhaging, cerebral edema, retinal hemorrhaging, healing rib fractures, 5 separate rib fractures. Bruising, including to the face, scalp, ear, cheek, chest, back, and extremity. I'm going to read that again just to show you guys how stupid that sounds. You bring him in, say he choked on a hot dog, but they found that this child had many injuries, including abusive head trauma, subdural hemorrhage, cerebral edema, retinal hemorrhages, healing rib fractures, 5 broken ribs, bruising to the facial, scalp, ear, cheek, chest, back, and extremity, and that equates to a choke of a hot dog. But guess what they didn't find? A damn hot dog. The child's doctor reportedly said The child's brain and eye bleeding was consistent with being violently shaken and then thrown onto a hard surface. The mother, Wedgeworth, I can't pronounce her name. The mother reportedly told investigators that she had witnessed her boyfriend abuse both of her kids on numerous occasions. She saw something, didn't say nothing. Told y'all they should be held accountable for watching this happen and don't do nothing, and then you're the victim? No, not in Texas. No way. The affidavit reportedly said that she told police that her boyfriend hit her son in the face at least 10 times while wearing boxing gloves. According to the affidavit, she also reportedly told police that her son, Javante, had recently suffered a dislocated shoulder. However, she said the couple did not seek medical assistance, because the boyfriend reset the infant's shoulder himself. Because, of course, he's a medical professional, right? Doctors reportedly told police that Javante's shoulder was not dislocated, so they lied about that. His arm was broken, though, and doctors say that any attempt to reset the arm only made the injuries more severe. The boyfriend, Lowe, is currently being held in the Bowie County Jail on a $7 million bond. Why does he even get a bond? If found guilty of capital murder, he faces the death penalty by legal injection or life without parole. Sounds good to me. The girlfriend is also being held in Bowie County Jail. Her bond is $1 million and she could face up to life in prison. They both need life in prison. Now, what the man on the right-hand side, Lennon Davis, has to do with this, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe the news videos will tell us. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. So he reset. This boy is 11 months old. And you're saying he dislocated an 11-month-old child's shoulder and put an 11-month-old baby's shoulder back in place? No. No.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dan Jovic. In our top story this evening, 2 more people face charges in the death of a 10-month-old boy in Texarkana, Texas. 28-year-old Joshua Lowe faces a charge of capital murder after the boy was brought to the hospital not breathing on Sunday. He also faces additional charges after police say they discovered a long history of physical abuse to the child. His bond has been set at over $7 million. Now, also charged in this case is the child's mother, 24-year-old Christy Wedgeworth. They say she knew about the abuse and she did nothing to stop it. Another man, 42-year-old Lennon Davis, is accused of hitting a 4-year-old special needs child in that home.
State lines in Texarkana, Texas. Charges have been added for a man arrested in connection to his 10-month-old stepson's death. And 2 other arrests have also been made, including the boy's mother. Joshua Lowe was charged with capital murder in this case, but during the investigation, other injuries were found on the baby, indicating a long history of abuse. Investigators say the boy's mother, Christy Wedgeworth, allegedly knew of the abuse to both of her children, but did nothing to stop it. She was also arrested. Lennon Davis, you see there on the right side, who lived with the family, was arrested after he allegedly hit Wedgeworth's 4-year-old daughter with an object multiple times. The case remains under investigation.
And an East Texas man is facing a capital murder charge in the death of an 11-month-old boy. Police say Joshua Lowe and the boy's mother brought the child to an emergency room at a local hospital. The boy wasn't breathing and appeared to be hurt. Doctors stabilized the child but had to transfer him to Arkansas Children's Hospital. The boy didn't make it, passing away 2 days later. Police learned while the mother was at work, Lowe watched the child. Detectives say Lowe's story didn't add up, and they arrested him for aggravated assault. Those charges were upgraded to capital murder after the child died.
Texarkana, Texas police have arrested a man for killing an 11-month-old baby boy. Police say 28-year-old Joshua Lowe and the baby's mother brought him to the hospital on Sunday. The child was injured and not breathing. He was transferred to Little Rock but died 2 days later. Police say Lowe was babysitting while the mother was at work. Lowe is charged with capital murder.
So he was babysitting, and yet you have another unqualified individual allegedly babysitting. It sounds like what he was doing was using this child as a human punching bag. He was using this child as a literal punching bag. He had boxing gloves on. What kind of stupid crap is this? What level of dumb are you? Boxing gloves? Allegedly putting an 11-month-old baby's shoulder back in place. What caused it to be disconnected in the first place? But on top of that, did y'all hear the list of extensive injuries? I'm not going to read that again. You can't be this level of dumb, and these people don't need jail time. They need hell time, because they need to spend an eternity in hell next to Satan, and hell is not full of baby murderers yet. This little boy is a beautiful baby boy. Look at that. They got an air mattress in there. Didn't even have a crib. An air mattress. No furniture. They were not prepared to be parents. And why these people continue to keep doing this to these kids is just irrational. It makes no sense. This is a beautiful baby boy. This baby boy deserved every opportunity to grow up and become something great. He seemed like a very happy baby, and I don't understand how you could look at this baby as a human being. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all some real talk. I'm a big fan of the YouTube channel, and I don't normally do this, but I'll do it now, of this channel called The Dodo. So if y'all want to look up The Dodo and subscribe to them, feel free. But I'm a big fan of their channel because they're always showing animals, and I like animals and all of that good stuff. But I've watched how dogs can sense when a mother is pregnant, when the baby is born. These people bring these dogs around their children. They sniff the babies. They understand that they're babies. They love them. They protect them. They sit by them. They become subservient to babies. How is it? We're not going to even talk about that damn hot dog again. That's just damn stupid. That's a stupid ass story to even bring up. That's absolute. He choked on a hot dog. Damn, man, the boy looked like you put his body in a blender. Are you kidding me? How does he choke on a hot dog, but you got like 415 injuries to this kid? Anyway, I've watched dogs treat babies better than adults. Like way better. Like 100 times better. Javante is a beautiful baby that lost his life at the hands of 3 grown idiots. Every one of them need life in prison for knowing it, being too close to it, participating in it, and just allowing this disease to fester and cost this baby its life. All of these people deserve life in prison, and that should be the end of the story. So Texas, let's get some justice here, okay? Thank you guys for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart. I want Texas to make me proud and get rid of all 3 of these goobers here, okay? So thank you guys for listening, and from my heart to yours, I love you all. Y'all have a great day, have a great night, and don't ever let people like this get away with crimes to children. Have a blessed day. See y'all on the next story. Peace. The other guy in the story, a little bit, the other guy was living in that house and he abused one of her other children. That's why he's being arrested. So he's a worthless bum. He's what, 42? 42 years old and still living off of somebody else. What a piece of crap. Lennon Davis is a piece of crap. Joshua Lowe is a piece of crap. Christy Wedgeworth is a piece of crap. Every one of them. But let me say thank you guys so much. I got to give a couple shout outs. And I hope that they get a chance to hear me. To Savannah, a.k.a. Vanna J. She used to work with KVSP Radio in Oklahoma City. I just went on to Coach. Let me see. Let me make sure I get it right. I'm going to make sure I get it right so y'all can look this up. But I just recently did an interview, and I'm going to ask them for permission if I could post it on YouTube. Because right now I think it's just only on Facebook. But I'll have to ask to make sure that it's okay with them. Culture Creators. Culture Creators. Let me I'm gonna post the link in the chat, and then I'll post a link to the interview. Let me get that up here real quick. So if you guys want to see my interview with Culture Creators and Vanna J, what an awesome lady. But you can check that interview out there. Whenever you guys go there, make sure you leave a comment and say it. We are the AFC and we came to show some support. We are the AFC if you guys want to go check them out. So thank you to her. And I might actually be doing another interview here pretty soon, but I want to keep that under wraps in hopes that I don't jinx myself, and I hope it works out. But I'm happy that that's going on. And we also crossed a pretty big milestone on YouTube, so I'm thankful for that. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to keep it private until I feel comfortable speaking about it, okay? But thank you all. Thank you everybody who donated. For those who could not donate, but you were able to donate a thumbs up, thank you. For those who were able to leave a comment or share and moderate, thank you guys. For those who are channel members, thank you all. Cecilia, channel member. Bonnie's a channel member. Little Bit's a channel member. Q Carlock, channel member. Josh Deemers Productions, channel member. Thank you so much. Miss Nisi, channel member. Patty Pierce, Nicole, all of you guys. Mo Love, Bonnie, Amethyst, all of you guys. Y'all have a blessed night, all right? Peace.
You see, I'm just like you. Born and raised right here in Oklahoma City, an Oklahoma City public school product, and a former Division I college basketball player. As a husband and a father, I know exactly what it feels like to make that daily living, make that daily grind and support your family. My experience in corporate finance and as a college professor has taught me one thing, and that we make it to be what we want it to be. Can you imagine a city government with no limitations, catering to access to resources and tools for people who look just like you? Who says we can't end homelessness with creative solutions? Who says we can't have a citywide mentoring program that will cater to all youth in Oklahoma City that will put them on a path to be successful? Who says that the criminal justice system can't be equitable and cater to all walks of life, no matter your income or your position as a family? And as your Oklahoma City mayor, I will put people over politics. My name is Jimmy Lawson, and I look forward to having your vote on February the 8th, 2022. For more information about my campaign and how to make a campaign contribution, please visit www.lawsonforokc.com. See you at the polls.
Check out this wonderful organization that I'm proud to be a part of. It's called Bags for Kids, BAGS4KIDS.org. And check out their website. They really help a lot of kids in foster care, giving them a permanent piece of luggage and also a lot of items that they might need so that they feel that they belong, which they do. So go to the website, bags4kids.org. So go for it. It's a great place, and they're doing great work.
Exclusive
exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
I love my Savior.
What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down. What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down TNT, and I am your humble host of the AFC Podcast. And people ask me all the time, what is the AFC Podcast? This is a platform for us to have open and candid conversations about children who are being taken advantage of by people who are in charge of protecting them. So sometimes we discuss the latest things going on in the news, but we advocate for children first. I get so many emails and comments from people that love what I do, and I want to continue to keep bringing content that matters to YouTube. And I would like to thank you in advance for your consideration to contributing to my platform. You can help support this channel by way of the links that are in the description box of each and every video. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I would like to thank you again and welcome to the AFC Podcast, where we advocate for children first. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Peace.